Hi, this is Danny. Came back with the Windows to Korea. I'm gonna do some weekly updates. So, terrible week last week. No matter how you put it, it was terrible. I think it wasn't for the Friday, especially for the Korean market. It would have been even worse. But on Friday it came back up, kind of recovered dramatically, in fact, on Friday. But until then, every day was like a hell. It was a days of terribleness. So KOSPI luckily end up with above 100, little bit above 1566. It was, I think this was, I think there's a lot of news before that, but the reason why it was terrible was because I'm talking strictly for the Korean market, and which I have always been. So no matter how I put it, for Korean market it was exchange rate. The exchange rate was almost 1300, almost 1300, which was hardly ever for last 10 years. So last 10 years I think it never really went up that much. Okay, it did. But yeah, so when it go through the 1300, which was almost happened last week, Korean economy means hell, because foreigners will sell off because they know their assets value is in Korea, whatever they have in Korean won, it will go down. And funny thing is, it driven up, it accelerated, because when they know their asset value goes down, they sell off, especially the stocks. And I think they even do that for the bond, but they first sell off almost immediately for the stocks first. So the stock price went down for that reason, and then because they're trying to exchange it to a dollar, the dollar value also goes up. So they're double dipping it. So they're selling off, and they're also selling off the dollar, the won, and obviously that's double dip. So but that's what happened last week, I think. Yeah. The fundamental wise, you're looking at like 0.5 or 0.4 PBR for many of the Korean stocks. So that just doesn't make sense. How? It makes sense if it was a shipbuilding. Shipbuilding was like 0.3 BPS and stuff. But almost all assets in Korean stocks and shares are at least try to be above 0.7 and 8. So, and then mostly above 1. So the market's value doesn't explain what's the value of the corporations. But the problem is nobody knows how it's going to turn out, how the Corona-19, the Chinese virus, would affect the actual real economy. It will definitely bring down the sales of food industry. I mean the restaurant industry, because as you know, people are going nowhere anymore, hardly ever to the restaurants. Um, and then offline anywhere is very tough, business wise, very tough. So it will bring down the a lot of industry down. One of the worst industry that ever hit by the coronavirus was airline. So the losses of airlines are severe, and I think we're going back to the airline businesses in United States, especially when for the aerospace side, Boeing for particular, Boeing was not doing so well because their Max 737 Max were grounded, and then that was like what biggest part of their business, right? This most well-selling plane ever made. So that's already we're doing not so good, and then obviously the coronavirus hit it more. So Boeing's value, as you probably know already, probably know better than me. So it's about American markets. So Boeing's stock price was going down on the hell, and they're now $95. Can you believe that? They're usually around $400. I mean, that's where they were. I mean, they're at the peak. They were 424, but at least at the normal level, they were at least $300, and they were hovering between $300 and $400 for many years. So their prices went back down to what it was 5 years ago. And for 5 years, that means they've been doing very well, because they are selling so many of this new airplane called the 737 Max. Their competitor is airline, Airbus. Okay, the Airbus. So Airbus, I don't know how they're doing with their stock price. Let's see. So they dipped down to that much too. So this is not just Boeing phenomenon, but for all airline related business. But you have to think about it. The airline Airbus group went down half of its value, but Boeing is almost one third of the value were gone. So the Boeing was even worse than most of other stocks in the United States. So airline business are, doing terrible. But Mr. I wonder who wrote this. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, this report that I'm trying to, show you says that the peak is there. So improvement is now something that we could start to talk about, because as you see here, What he's saying is that the coronavirus did affect the airlines, Korean Air, Jeju Air, you know. But then the problem is it's not the huge losses expected. The airlines are not making any money. Nobody's riding the airplane. And it was even worse because all these boundaries, the national boundaries closing down, airline businesses definitely is not doing well. Impact on the travel demands was much greater than past epidemic cases. After all, as in the case of SARS and MERS, Corona had a maximum impact on the airline industry for 3 months. 5 is expected to affect will disappear over the course of 9 months. Into the second quarter, Korean Air Jeju expects your RPK declines to 14% and 20.8%. It will reduce the number of flights. Yeah. So I was looking at this to show you that the airline business is now at peak, and nobody knows if that's really peak either. I mean, it seems like it did reach the peak last Friday, but then you saw on Friday, because you know the Korean market is closing earlier than the American market because of time gap. American market went down almost 4%, almost 4 to 5, 3 to 4%, but usually around 4%. And Europe actually went up. So if we go follow the Europe side, and then we may have chance to see stock price goes up next week. Let's see here what happened last week. As you hear, as you see here, Brazil was the worst market with almost 20%. The Dow industry was 17 minus 17. Philadelphia, S&P, Indonesia, Dow, Nasdaq, and India, and then you have KOSPI and KOSDAQ. Actually, KOSPI went down further than the KOSDAQ on Friday. I mean the last week, and then you see Shanghai. And some of the Europe stocks were actually doing okay. But if you think about the year to date, I mean, Europe was the worst, among the worst. Russia is the worst, but then you have also Dow Industries going like half of the value is gone. Brazil also almost half gone. Caustic around 30%. Actually did better than most of the American market. But in any case, this is how I play. Okay. In any case, going back to what happened last week. Well, hell happened. Like I said, it's because oil price, there's the oil price, which is going down like there's no tomorrow. Yeah. And then you have exchange rates for Korea. There's two things that you're gonna have to watch for tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow, because Europe market went up and American market went up. It's very hard to tell yet. It's very very hard to tell. So I'm just hoping that exchange rate doesn't go up anymore. Hopefully, WTI price also stop actually maintain its normal level, or at least it doesn't go up or down too much. So, yeah. Well, it is for today, and thank you very much, and I'll see you again.